Aries, how are you? I'm here to do your reading for the second half of April 2019 for April 15th to 30th for Aries. There's a lot of movement now for the rest of the month. Mercury moves into Aries on April 18th, finally. So enough with the Pisces because it was like just too much. I literally can't wait. There's a full moon on April 19th, the third lunation of the Aries season. The sun moves into Taurus on April 20th. This has been coming out a lot in my readings too for people. So interesting. Venus moves into, sun into Taurus, April 20th, Venus into Aries and out of Pisces on April 21st. Pluto goes retrograde on April 24th and Saturn goes retrograde on April 29th. So that's a lot of movement in a 15-day period. Now, Pluto and Saturn have been sitting on their degrees. So they've been stationed for pretty much all of April. Okay. So yang energy in the reverse. So moving into, always theme with the feminine here, not pushing things, letting things come to you, which was the first half of April was about receiving. So that continues, especially as we're about to be hit with the sun into Taurus. We got two of these. I'll show you the pictures, but as you know, I have to look them up. So yeah, so that's a lot of movement. Can I have 3 cards, please, for the last half of April 2019 for Aries? 3 cards for the energy for the last half of April 2019 for Aries. So there's a lot of movement. The good news is, look at that, 2 major arcana. So yeah, there's a lot of big, like, chapter, not small movement, like big movement. You know, Wheel of Fortune says the hand of destiny is at work and things can kind of go in any direction. This is both about lovers. This is one of those cards that has multiple meanings. It's about innocence, joy, understanding the consequences of choices, being ignorant of consequences as well. You know, it's the moment before the fall. And Queen of Wands, which we got also last week. So this is actually really powerful energy here. 2 major arcanas and a Queen card means it's really like time to step into our power. Now let me look up these 2 as always, and I will be right back. Okay, so we have an interesting story here. The first thing I want to call out is the prevalence of the color yellow. Now yellow has 2 different meanings. It's associated with joy, it's associated with sunlight, with happiness, with expansion. It is also connected to fear and cowardice. When, you know, we say when somebody doesn't want to do something, they're yellow, so they're afraid of doing it. So it's connected to the 3rd chakra and action and doing, which is a very common theme here in the cards. Now I'm going to take you through this one. This card here is called Revelations, and what it says is that things now start to be revealed. And this is probably the card of Mercury moving out of Pisces and into Aries, is that we had all of that sort of hidden intuitive knowledge, and now things will start to take shape as the thinking process becomes a little bit more fiery and less watery. Things will start to be revealed. Now this card, which came out at the same time, is called Codes, and it says to pay attention to the hidden codes that other people would normally look at and not see anything. Try and find the patterns in your day-to-day life. Look for things that are repeating, because within those repetitions, it's sort of the universe's way of trying to get your attention. So when you see phone calls that happen all the time, numbers all the time, colors all the time. Anytime there's some sort of repetition of something that seems banal, and by repetition I mean 3 times or more, pay attention to it. Try and go into it and see what it could mean, because those are usually the ways that the universe tries to get our attention. When you say, I feel like I saw that before, or didn't that just happen? So anytime you notice something happening in 3s for the rest of the month, like our lunations in our Aries season, pay attention to them, because there's a message in there for you, and it's something you need to know in order to make a wise choice. Okay, so this story here is about this woman who has a boyfriend, and she's pretty sure he's cheating on her, but she doesn't have any proof. It's just her intuition. And she says that she settles for this boyfriend because she says she feels like a bit like this cherry pie, that she's missing a piece. And Spirit comes and tells her and says, you need to accept that you are enough. And in her accepting that she's enough, she stops accepting what's not good for her. So she gets rid of her boyfriend. And that in trusting her intuition, first of all, and then in accepting that she is perfect, divine, whole, strong, powerful woman as she is, she's then able to make a wise choice. And you know, it's funny because actually when I was shuffling before, the card that fell out, like I do pre-shuffle before I do the cards, and the card that fell out is Enlightenment, which is a yellow card. So this week is about, or this rest of the month is going to be about making wise choices for our next steps. Things that get us out of feeling like we're missing a piece of ourselves, and things that make us feel like this. Now, this Queen of Wands keeps popping up because this is the energy we want to hold all the time. And sometimes we find ourselves here, which is, you know, it's funny because it's kind of like the one color that sticks out, although there's purple here, which is repeated in this card and in this card. So those are the purple. It's the color of the divine. It's the color of enlightenment. So there is a theme here of wisdom, using wisdom, the power of wisdom, looking in messages that are being sent to you in channels that are unusual, to be given the wisdom to make enlightened, spirited, 7th chakra choices. Excuse me. Okay, so now here we have this Yang card in the reverse, and you can see that that's also very fiery also. Now this is the first card in this deck, and so this is very much Aries energy, and since it came out in the reverse, it's telling us, it's also talking about moving out of this fiery energy. But what this card advises us to do is to not jump into things without considering them carefully. And that's what this card does also. It says, yes, enjoy the feelings of innocence and love and freedom, but remember, there are consequences to every choice. And if you if you do that which you have been advised against, there's going to be consequences for you. So if someone tells you, hey, I think your boyfriend's cheating, and you ignore that, there are eventual consequences that take you out of this energy. So when you are provided with information, investigate it. Don't jump onto it, but see if there's anything concrete. Because if you ignore it, you know, this wheel, people often talk about this as like the good luck, that the wheel is turning in your favor. But actually what it is these 4 creatures here were part of the vision of the chariot of God. And they go in either directions, or each one goes in a specific direction, south, north, east, west. So what this wheel actually tells us is that really the things could go in any direction. And it's kind of up to us to make wise choices to keep us sitting here on our throne being powerful, as opposed to being in this energy. So I'll repeat it again. I already said it twice, but pay attention to the signs that you've collected over the past month or longer with this Mercury in Pisces. All those feelings that you have, those sixth senses about certain situations, about getting into them, about getting out of them, about continuing to see that person, about not continuing to see that person. Whatever those feelings are that are going around in your third chakra, pay attention to them and start looking for clues in things that you would consider esoteric or hidden in your day-to-day life. When you see 3 repetitions of any message, that's your message. Know that. Make sure you think things through. You don't jump into situations without considering the consequences. But always remember that really your choices can take the situation in any direction. You can keep you in an unpleasant situation, or you can move yourself into a position of power and happiness and joy and strength. So it's really in your hands. All that fire energy and that decision energy is in your hands to be able to move this wheel, whichever, look at those 2 images also. The circular pattern repeated. So you actually have the power to do this. Make sure it's done with wise counsel and good, solid, rooted information. But pay attention to your intuition, because the answer has already been given to you, albeit through a veil. And now it's time to pay attention and try and bring that out of the veil and into the actual concrete world. Okay, so enjoy the rest of April. I will be doing the weekly very shortly, and I will talk to you soon.